All right, so welcome to this episode. We are going to look at arrangement. Okay, so starting with or beginning with duplicating. We all know that if you have an object, you can hold Alt on the keyboard and then click and drag to duplicate, right? Cool. Now let me undo that. We can also cut, copy and paste. So with this one, can Control C and then Control V. It will paste to the center of the artboard. So let me undo that. Even if the object is here, I do Control C, Control V, it will paste at the center of the artboard. Okay, so now if I want to paste in the same position, I can go for Control C to copy and then Shift Control V to paste in the same position. Okay, and I can move the other one aside. So you can, to do that without the shortcut, you go to edit, copy and then edit again. You can see paste in place and then it will paste in the same place and you can move it anywhere. Okay, cool. Now let me bring this guy here. No, let me delete that. Let's bring this guy here. We have other aspects of the pasting. We can go for edit and then copy, and then in the edit we have paste in front. Okay, that's Control F, and then we have paste in back, Control B, and it's just English. Okay, so we have paste in front means paste it in front of the previous object. So I have pasted it in front. Okay, and I'll go ahead and change the color to green. Now it is in front of the previous one. Okay, now let's delete this guy and then select this. Let's go to edit, paste, copy, and then edit, paste in back. If you click paste in back, it is pasted in the back of this object. Okay, so we can change the color to, let's say, orange. All right, now to move this, the back one is selected. Okay, the duplicated one is selected. Now to move it, if I try clicking and moving, I will move the front one, which is the blue guy. So one way is to hold shift and use the arrow keys to move objects on the artboard. So you can see I use the shift forward arrow key to move it to the right. Now I can see it, so I can then click and drag it out. Okay, so without this move, you can't click and drag, because you move the front one. Okay, so maybe you want the position of the blue guy to be in place, but move the one at the back. So what you can do is suppose you move this guy, okay, but you want the blue to be in position and select the guy behind. All you can do is hold Control on the keyboard and then click again. You've selected the guy at the back. So you can see, check the fill. Let's select this blue guy. You can see the purple. Okay, the purple is showing over here, meaning we've selected the purple. Now hold Control, click again, and you can see it changes to orange, which means the orange guy is selected. Now we can't move it, so we use the arrow keys to just shift it. Okay, so if you want to select something behind a shape like that, you just hold Control, click again, and then the color changes, then you select. You can move it. You can move it with the arrow, because this is in front. Okay, or if you want, you can select the blue guy and then go to object, lock, and then lock selection. Now the blue is locked. If I click again, I've selected the orange guy, and with this one I can click and move it around. Okay, and if you want, after that you can unlock. So you go to object and then unlock, or this guy gets unlocked. You can move it, or you can move them to a different layer and then just continue with that. Okay, so that is the paste in the back and paste in front. And the same technique applies to cut. Just copy and cut. You can cut, copy. Now suppose I have multiple artboards, okay, and I want to paste this guy. I select this guy and then I go to edit and then I cut. Okay, I can go back to edit and then paste on all artboards. I can paste and it will appear on all the artboards. Okay, so that is edit and paste on all artboards. Cool. So let's look at arrangement. Okay, so we have three. I have three objects here, and please make sure you have only one artboard. You have only one artboard, not multiple artboards. So we have these guys on top of this layer. So how do we know which object is the topmost object or which object is in front of the other? Beginners, we can overlap. Okay, when we overlap, we will realize that the red is the topmost object and the yellow is on top of the blue, just like that. So the easiest way to find out is to pull the layers panel. You can go to window and then layers, you find it. Okay, so I've taught you that in the layers panel we have layers, okay, and sub layers. So right now we have layer 1 containing the 3 objects, and they are in the sub layers. Okay, so each sub layer contains each object on the artboard, and through that is where we come to know that, oh, so the red is on top of the yellow is on top of the blue. Okay, cool. Now if we overlap, okay, let's overlap again. So right now the blue, we all know that the blue is far back. Okay, so let's say we want to bring the blue in front. What we can do is we can select the blue over here. When you click the layer, it won't get selected unless you click this circle or click here. Okay, you get the object selected, and after selecting the object, you can click the layer and drag it up. Okay, here. Okay, it comes on top of all of them, and you can bring it below the red and it goes behind, takes a step back. Okay, that is that. You can select the yellow also and bring it. You can move them through. Okay, they will be moving up and down just like that. Another way is shortcut. So you can use, we are going to use the shortcut is Control, and if you want to step back or send a layer behind another, or send a layer or object behind another one, it is open bracket. If you want to bring it on top, it is the closing bracket. Okay, on the keyboard. So Control, open bracket, or the curly bracket, open curly bracket, it will send it back and the layer will come down. If you hit the open Control open bracket, it will go back or step back. To bring it forward, Control close bracket or the closing bracket key on the keyboard, it will come in front just like that. Okay, so that is that. Now maybe you will have multiple layers. So if we create a new layer, okay, and let's say this yellow guy, I move it, click this and move it here. Okay, it is in a new layer, or it's on a new layer, so it is separate from these guys. So no matter what you do, it will be in front or it will be on top of the shapes. Okay, so you can't just drag the red or any other layer on top. It won't come in front of the yellow because its layer is in front of this layer where these guys are contained. Okay, so if I drag this layer below, you can see that it goes behind it, but that doesn't mean that it's in the same layer. So I can't use the curly bracket, Control curly bracket, closing curly bracket, it won't come in front. Okay, so that's how it is. Cool. So another thing, so let me just create another layer object under layer 1. So let's have a square and change the color to green. Okay, all right, so with this, it is on top of the blue, the yellow and the red, but these three guys are on the same layer or in the same subgroup or on the same layer. Okay, so what we can do is use the arrange, select an object, right click and then arrange. So you can see bring to front, bring forward, send backward, send to back. Now let's explain or let's demonstrate. So you can see that this yellow guy is behind all of them. Okay, but remember that this yellow guy is on a different layer. Okay, a different layer, it's separate, and the layer is below all of them. So if I select this yellow guy, right click and then arrange, okay, and bring to front, you can see that it's not working. Why? Because the layer is below these guys, so it will never come on top of that. That is that. So let's just delete this layer. Cool. Now we have these guys on the same layer. Now it will work. So this blue guy is behind all of them. So if we select this blue guy, right click and then choose arrange, bring to front, it will just come in front of all of them. Now it's in front of all of them. Right click again, arrange, send to back, go straight to the back. Right click again. Now we want to step forward. Okay, so bring forward, it will step forward, take one step back, forward. Why do I see forward and I keep on saying back? So it will come in front of the red but not in front of the green. So if you want to take another step in front or forward, we right click, arrange and then bring forward. Okay, if you don't want to go straight to the back, I'm taking you to 1998 lectures. If you don't want to go straight to the back, we just step back, one step back, and that is the arrange, send backward. It will go one step backward and arrange, okay, send backward. But if you do it, bring to the front, it will come to the front. And if you want to step forward, you just arrange, step forward or bring forward, it will come one step forward. I'm tired. So now let's look at alignments. Okay, so let's go to window and align. This guy will pop up. So make sure you have similar objects like this, these guys. Okay, so the first one is a horizontal align left. So if we have this guy here like that, okay, and I select these three guys and I'll horizontal align left. If I click on that, it will align all of them to the left. Okay, so you see that the ends will align having a straight line over here, no matter the length or the width of anything. Okay, so this is what they will look like. And if I align to the right, you can see it aligns the right side. Cool. So there's align left and then right. Okay, so if you have shapes like this, different shapes, and you select all of them, align, they will just come to the right side and align perfectly. Left two, they'll go the other way. All right, that's cool. Let me undo. Cool. And we have the horizontal align center. So with this one, they would, if I select these guys, horizontal align center, they will just align and a straight line can pass through it. Okay, that's symmetry. Okay, cool. And in case you didn't know where these align stuffs were, we are in the panel right now. Cool. And let me just put these guys here and bring these guys, so we are on the vertical align top. If we click, they go to the top. And same thing with the bottom. Okay, you align with the top, you align the top. Okay, the top of each shape, they will be in a straight line. Cool. I think we all know this, right? And if I select all of them, and then we have the vertical align bottom, we just align the bottom part of the shape. Okay, the shapes. Now we have this guy right here, the vertical align center, and I can go ahead and delete this guy. Okay, so let's say we have these guys like that. We want to align them on a horizontal straight line. I can select all of them, and then this, I have them like that. Okay, cool. So this align horizontal align center, don't confuse the two. Okay, just like that. If you want to have them in a straight line like that, you select and you are through. Cool. If you want them like that to select, click this guy, you are good to go. Now let's look at distribution. Okay, the distribute objects. So we have the distribute top, we have the this guy vertical distribute center and horizontal distribute center and all of that. So the vertical distribute center is when you want to have the same spaces between all of them. Okay, so let's say we have these objects here. Sometimes on business card okay, I'll be arranging the icons. So on the I want the same space, this space, or let's say I want to distribute them equal spacing. Okay, so I'll select all of them and then I will come and click the distribute center, and you see this guy will shift, creating equal spacing between them. Okay, so that's the vertical. So it works with vertical objects. Okay, now about horizontal ones, if there is unequal spacing, you select all of them like that, and you come to this guy, which is the horizontal distribute center, the blue shift, and we have equal spacing. Okay, so that is the vertical and then horizontal. So the vertical is when the objects are aligned in vertical form and we want equal spacing, so you click equal spacing horizontal, just like that. Okay, so let's look at this scenario to have have a red big ball and green, okay, smaller one. So we can talk about the distribution, we can talk about this and that later. Okay, and maybe when we progress, we can have works that we might use them. It is very practical. So let's focus on one thing. Realize that if I want to align this horizontally, if I select and then come over here, the horizontal align center, and then I click, you can see that the big one also moves. Okay, and then the green one also moves to align. If I undo that and then click again, undo. Okay, so if you want this guy to be stationary and this guy will move to it, when you select all of them like that, you can click this guy again, click the red guy. You can see the bounding box becomes thicker, which means this guy is the center object, and when I click this align, horizontal align, only the green moves, and if I click the vertical, the green moves at the center. Okay, I can also control the bigger one. If I drag over to select these two guys, click this guy again, now this is the center of focus, and if I click this, the bigger one moves, and then I click, it moves to it. So that option is the align to key object over here. So you can choose whatever objects that you want to align the rest to. Okay, so if we have 3 objects like this, and let's say I want to align the center, let me just do it like this. Okay, so if I select and then I want to align them horizontally, if I click, you see all of them will move. But if I want the green and then the red, even though this guy is the red is the biggest one among them, so the smaller ones were supposed to move to it, no, you can click this again to make this guy the key object, and then the rest will align to it. Okay, if you want the middle one to be the key object, after dragging and selecting, click, this guy becomes the key object. When you align, you know, they all come to it. Cool, and then you can take it from there. Same thing with the horizontal the vertical align centers. So now suppose we have a shape on an artboard. Okay, whether it's multiple shapes or a single shape like that, we can align it to the artboard. So let's say we have this guy here. If you want to align it to the left, we can just click the left align, and then horizontal left align, it goes to the left, or the right comes to the right. And let's say you want to bring it to the corner here, this anchor point touching the corner, all we need to do is align to the right and then align to the bottom, and we have it here. Same thing with left and then top, we bring it here. If you want to center, click here and then click here to align it to the artboard. Okay, so even if you have multiple shapes duplicated shapes or whatever, you can align only this guy to the artboard. Okay, so far as you haven't selected any other object. Cool. And even if you have multiple objects like this, you select multiple objects, you can align them. Once you have this guy checked, you can align them to the artboard. Okay, cool. So that is that. Now let's move on with the next one. So now let's look at the last thing. Okay, so make sure you have this align to selection selected. Okay, so let's say we want to have equal spacing. All we have to do is select the three and then go ahead and choose the horizontal distribute center, and we will have equal spacing. Okay, one thing that we can do is, suppose these guys are overlapped and we want them to look like this. We just want them to look like this. Okay, so if they are overlapped like this, all we can do is bring this one here, select all of them, and then come to horizontal distribute center, and you can have something like this. Or once they are like this, we can select all of them and then make this red guy, click it to make it the anchor object. Okay, and that way this guy gets selected, the key object. Okay, so with that, this distribute spacing will unlock, and we can tell the amount of pixels. Okay, the spacing, we can choose a specific pixels for that. So we can say 20 pixels from the red object, or 20 pixels between each object. So we can choose 20 pixels from here. And should we go for horizontal or vertical? In this case, they are aligned horizontally, so we are going for the horizontal distribute spacing. And once we click it, 20 pixels here, 20 pixels here. Okay, if they were to be like this, okay, they were to be like this, we can click this guy to make it the key object, and then go for a vertical distribute space, and 20 pixels here, 20 pixels there. Okay, so let's come back here. Now if we click this guy, and let's choose let's say 30, no, let's make it 40 pixels and distribute 40 pixels. Okay, that is that. If you want to go 50 pixels, we extend to 50 pixels. That is that. Okay, now what happens if we make this guy the key object? So select or click the middle one to make it the key object, and now we have 50 pixels over here. Let's click the horizontal distribute, 50 here, 50 here. Okay, that is just that. Now let's say we want to align them to the artboard. So let's say one will be here, one will be here, and this guy will be in the middle of the artboard. All we can do is choose this align to artboard, select all of them, okay, and just click the horizontal distribute. If you want to go vertical, to make sure the artboard align to artboard is selected. And so that's the end of this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.